Alright, so for today's lesson, we're going to be looking at how to find the slope from three different representations, okay? We're going to find the slope from a graph, from 2 points, and the third way, we're going to find the slope from an equation. Okay? So, given this example, we have a graph here. We need to find the slope from this graph, okay? So we know this is one of the points of the graph here on the y-axis. And we also have this point up here, okay? That point is labeled 10, comma, 9. So if you want to find the slope, the very first thing you should do is obviously identify the 2 points. Okay, we've done that with purple. Now, I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use red. You're going to draw your slope triangle, okay? And I always recommend you start with the lowest point, right? The point that's closest to the x-axis. That's going to be this one right here. And what you're going to do is you're going to go up, okay? Just draw that vertical distance, and you stop until you are on the same horizontal line as the point, okay? So you go up, then you go to the right, okay? And there you go. You've drawn your slope triangle, okay? It's also a right triangle. Now you think, okay, well, what's the vertical distance? We went from 3 to 9. So the distance there is 6, because 9 minus 3 is 6. For the horizontal distance, we went from x equals 0, right? This is 0 right here, all the way up to 10. So technically the distance is 10. I mean, if you want to do this mathematically, it would be 10 minus 0 is equal to 10. So now you've calculated your vertical and horizontal distances. So the slope, right, which is also known as the letter m, now we just divide the vertical distance by the horizontal distance. Let me write that out. Vertical divided by horizontal. That's going to be 10. Oopsie, not 10. That's going to be 6 divided by 10, which reduces to 3/5. So the slope is 3/5. Okay? And that's how you find the slope from a graph. Okay? Moving on, suppose we want to find the slope from 2 points. Okay? Slope from 2 points. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just use negative numbers here, okay? So suppose one of my points is -3, 1, and my other one is 5, -6. Okay? So, first thing you want to do is label your points, okay? Meaning, this is going to be x1, y1. This is going to be x2, y2. The reason we do that is because there's actually a formula to find the slope. I never taught you this formula in class because I wanted you to have a better understanding of the visualization, okay? I wanted you to be able to graph the points, connect the points, and then draw the triangle. So, the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Basically, you're finding the difference in y's and you're dividing it by the difference in x's, which is exactly what the slope is, right? It's the average change of the y values with respect to the x values. So all you got to do now is just replace what the y's and the x's represent. So y2 is -6. Oopsie. So that's -6 minus y1 is 1 all over x2 is 5, and then x1 is negative 3. So we're going to subtract the negative 3. Negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. And then 5 minus a negative 3 is the same thing as 5 plus 3, so that's 8. And there you go. Your slope is negative 7 over 8. And that's from using this formula. Now, if you don't like using the formula, you can totally graph these 2 points, right? You can graph the points. Negative 3, 1 would be somewhere like right here. Negative 3, 1. And then 5, negative 6. This would be 5. This would be like negative 6 down here. And then you could connect the 2 points. And then you would draw the triangle. And then you would do the same thing we did. You find the vertical distance, the horizontal distance, and you're going to get the same answer, okay? Negative 7 over 8. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to find the slope from an equation, okay? This might be the easiest way. So suppose we have an equation, something like y equals negative 3 halves x plus 9. Well, we already know that if we have an equation like this, y equals mx plus b, b is your starting value, and m is your slope. So according to this, what's the slope? It's the number in front of the x. Negative 3 over 2. And that's it. It's literally the number in front of the x. What about here? Y equals 2x minus 1. What's the slope? You got it. It's 2. Let me throw a curveball at you. What about negative x minus 3? What's your slope? If you said negative 1, you're correct. There's technically a 1 right here, so it's negative 1. All right. So I think y'all are ready to go ahead and try